Hello, folks. One more live today. I hope that's it. But massive comments on a lot of feeds. I want to go get a haircut today. Should have done that in the States. That's what I was telling myself I was going to do. Get a haircut. But I didn't do it. Now I got to get one here in Ontario. I should have experienced that. But I'm going to give it that second to let people log on. I see people are starting to come in now. I posted about the border. Detroit, the Confederation Bridge, which was cool. And then I look back at Detroit and I'm like, man, I want to go there. I want to check it out. I had people message me about all kinds of things about Detroit, warning me about and things to know. And I'll get there. New York is my next stop, which will be, I would think, in just a few weeks' time, 3 or 4 weeks. I'm going to take a weekend. I'm going to New York. Might even take a day off to go to the UN, go visit the UNSC and see how that works. But on the London border, clearly, folks, I can't make it up. The signs are there. The Google notification, because I'm on Google Map at the time, and I wish now I would have screenshotted it. But clearly, when you go over the bridge, the Google tells you as you enter Canada, as you're going across the bridge, it says, go into COVID checkpoint. Clearly. December 31st, 2022, so New Year's Eve, Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government of Canada decided that they're going to screen all Chinese entering Canada. All Chinese. It's not me. It's on the websites. Or all those people telling me, oh, it's not real. I was there. The video's real. The cars were lined up. There must have been 1,000. Took a long time to get through. And I'm lucky they didn't say, hey, we want to see what's in your trunk, the rest of it. Now, at my wicket, as I go through, and I got to prove I'm Canadian, all that, the guard is wearing a COVID mask, right? The border security guy, gloves, all full COVID protocols in place. So I don't know anybody else's experience. I shot that video live for all of you as it happened. And clearly the signs are up. I don't know if you can see at the beginning of the video of each window. There's like 20 across. COVID-19 checkpoint. Large signs. Can't miss it. Google map programmed. Canada COVID checkpoint. Clearly. Can't make it up. Now I wish I'd screenshotted it for all those liberal naysayers or people trying to treat me like, oh, it's just a busy border, or it's just this, it's just that. No, it's a detour around the border crossing for a COVID-19 checkpoint. And I don't know before that time or after, it was my first time going across the United States and coming back to Canada, which I came through London because I work in Ontario. I had to head east to Bowmanville, and then I'll go back to Cambridge tomorrow to start work. But that is the reality of what was there, what it was, what it's defined as, and exactly what it is. As of December 31st, they're screening for Chinese entering Canada. They want to look at your passport, your picture, make sure this Chinese person is that Chinese person. I call it racism. Those Chinese that got maybe some of the Shenzhou vaccines or Shinno vaccines. Well, guess what? Though those are non-mRNA vaccines. Well, India's in the same boat. India is in the same boat. We don't screen India in any way, shape, or form. There's no mass known variant scary out of China that we know of. They're saying, well, just in case it is a China virus, Joe Biden says it's a China virus, just like Donald Trump said. I guess he was a kook for saying it before. That's what the radical left said. But now, better be careful, because it could be a China virus programmed by China, even though, folks, we can't even replicate cells. We can't. There's not a human being alive. And I know the highest authority in the world, in the European Union, who has a gross amount of funding on cells. Never mind viruses or what we look at in the smaller. Viruses are 1,000 times smaller than a cell. We don't have tools to do what people like to look at science fiction as being able to do. So it's very hard to see a virus crafted by mechanical means, by human hands at this point in life. We can't replicate cells, no matter what anyone says. They talk about synthetics or trying to get things to work, or they've done stuff with bacteria, which is even 1,000 times bigger than a cell, because bacteria is made up of thousands and millions of cells, folks. They're all different sizes. We're getting into the microscopic universe. Technology's not there yet. If you want to look into even more of it, look at microchips. Nanomillimeter microchips. They talk about getting lower and lower, down to 7, then to 5, and on and on. And China's not there. USA's not there to get any smaller. And these are just switches, folks. These are toggle switches at that size, that small size. So people can say whatever until you show me something that shows that. I don't believe it. I think COVID is long behind us by the numbers. China, everyone's stacked on each other like you wouldn't believe. If you haven't seen Coffin City, Hong Kong, go watch it. 20 people live in a 1-bedroom. Whole families in a 6-foot space, 6 by 6 foot space. Even the volume, the height of the ceiling. That's it. That's it. Sharing hallway bathrooms. You're going to spread coughs, colds, flus, COVID, whatever you want to call all these different viral infections. You're going to spread them at a massive rate in densities of that caliber. That's reality. India's a lot like that too. And I'm not going to sit here and entertain like the government who has a radical immigration policy with Hong Kong. I don't know if Canadians know this either. We've had a radical, hyperinflated Chinese immigration. Radical beyond anybody else. All through COVID and now because Joe Biden said it's a China virus, Trudeau's going to look like a tough guy, and that's probably the border COVID checkpoint. That's my guess. Looking for it, because you got to show who you are, and you got to make sure you're not sick and blah, 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 right? Wearing masks, gloves, all of it. Oh, yeah. And they want to make sure that no Chinese is posing as a Chinese Canadian or whatever else. That's my guess. Again, this is only a couple days old, folks. There was my video of me going through the border. That was real. That was a COVID checkpoint. It's clearly signed that way, and it was clearly on Google programmed in COVID Canada checkpoint. Sorry. People don't like it, don't want to hear it. That's what's going on. That's what's on the government website, screening Chinese because of China virus. Total racist, right? But Trudeau's got to look good. The Conservatives got to look good. Everyone's got to look like they're doing for Canadians. Don't worry, we're protecting you, keeping the fear alive. When really they have the most radical immigration from China all the way through COVID till now. So it's kind of hollow when you have a radical immigration number from that country all through COVID and even now. Go look it up. Hong Kong priority. Mainland China got a priority. Just like Ukrainians, well, Hong Kong had it too. And long before the conflict in Ukraine, all through COVID-19, because UK lost Hong Kong, their opium wars, forcing drugs on a population through genocide. Canadians, that's our history too, under that crown. That's what we propagate here as Canadians on the international stage. That, we're going to free the Hong Kong citizens. The Hong Kong created by massively crushing people into a small area. Communist mainland Beijing, China didn't create that. UK did. This cesspool of disease created by compressing people into a small area and charging them astronomical amounts of money. Go read your opium wars. It'll mess you up. It will mess you up. The truth is always much, much different than we're told. And then it's come to Canada, crush everybody into these small megacities in Canada because we can't release any land. It's important to keep 91% of Canada in the firm grasp of the government elected and appointed few so that their rich friends can make money and you all get the bills. That's the truth. This is the truth of what Canada is. Look at how Hong Kong got created, who created it. Look at what happened. Now China's trying to get that all settled up, and they're getting better as the years go by. I'm not a big fan of communism. I'm just saying they didn't create Hong Kong. UK did. The monarchy system created that monster where disease is rampant because human beings are not to be stacked like animals in cages. Cage cities, go watch that. Can't make this stuff up. People can ignore it. They can pretend it's not true, but it's true. And it wasn't created by the Chinese or the communist China. They lost that city in the Opium Wars. And I'm going to say it again, folks, for those who aren't paying attention. Opium Wars was the royal family in full power of the British military system said, we will drug your citizens, we'll sell street drugs, opioids to your people. We'll keep them drugged up no matter what you say. And the Chinese government at the time said, no, the dynasty fought back. They lost. Bow and arrow versus cannon. I mean, come on. They got their butts whipped. And then the British forced drug dealing that they grew in India under Edward VII, Emperor of India. If you don't believe me, go to Toronto, the greatest, biggest statue in Queen's Park that everyone climbs on, everybody celebrates and shoots videos on. Edward VII, no, Emperor of India, where they grew all the opiate drugs that infects the world today. That's where it all started. Edward VII, celebrated in Toronto, the monumentalist, biggest statue, the greatest thing about Queen's Park. Think we're not sick in this country? I beg to differ. Shit like that should be ripped down and thrown away, but we celebrate it here. What do you think when India people come here and they go look at Edward VII, Emperor of India? What do you think they think of that? Especially since 1948. Real slap in the face, right? Makes you go, hey, what kind of country am I in here? What kind of country am I in? If Canadians even knew a tenth of what's really out there and what the real history of this country and its monarchical past, present, and current going forward, future, I mean, it's sick. It's sick. We have to resist and we have to tell the truth. And everything I post is for the truth. People get upset. Like my friend Robert David Lang says, it's the psychology. I call it institutionalization. We're programmed to believe these things are normal, natural, it's all good. Don't worry, it's good. It's not good. It's not good to have a radical immigration policy when the rate of housing and the no increase in property release, we keep bringing in more people, keep stacking more people in the same amount of land availability. Think about it. Your wealth, your ability to generate keeps getting crushed smaller and smaller and smaller. People don't want to believe it, but it's true. Your government creates all your problems. It's an old, diseased system from the British Empire in the hands of liberals right now, could be conservatives tomorrow. NDP wants to get there, Bloc wants to get there. They're always never going to get there, but they're going to share that crown. They're all going to share the crown and absolutely rape, pillage, and plunder you, the subjects, and absolutely decimate and genocide what they define as the savages, the first peoples. Every monarchy does it. Every one of these systems does it. And go through history. The Jews from the Germans, the Chinese from the Japanese, the British, all of Africa, all the Asian world, all of the Latin world, and on and on. One of the worst monsters ever created who developed this Canada. They created this colonial constitutional monarchy. They created it. Now Canada, its politicians hold it in their hand, unchanged since the creation of the UN. Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Then there's the 52 others in the Commonwealth of countries.